You know, that's all he did really, was just stand back and just say something like that. And that's what he's doing in this movie. He's just the guy where if you need somebody to come in and say something cool, call him.
So you'd want to make Godzilla our pet?
No. We would be his.
People are like, where the fuck he come from?
He's always there. Just like...
Everybody stop laughing real quick.
Yeah.
Hey, what?
A lot of kids here, and you know, the other thing is, a lot of kids this year, they're going to discover that there's no Santa when they wake up and they don't see a shirt from dtmerch.com under the tree.
I bet. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, don't do this to your kids. You know, bring them joy with the holiday shirt that we have here. The classic black tee with the white logo. Oh, that big stew pot / mug that we got. Phone covers. The gift certificate. Go to the site, try it out 7 days for free. If you don't like it, that's fine, that's cool. But some of you be back, and when you do, we make it very easy for you to subscribe so that you can get all that. Hey, man, you ain't never seen her do this. Look at her. Watch this. What's that? That toasted goodness. Look at her, man. Look at it all over your body. Look at it. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get into it. The moment has arrived that we got to pay respects to the king. Or do we? You know, there's the new Godzilla, King of the Monsters trailer out there. And a lot of people said, you know what? Oz, I'm sure you heard this. They said, look, that Godzilla movie that came out in 2014, that was cool. You know, much respect. They got this right more than ever for an Americanized Godzilla. So step in the right direction. I just wish that he just beat more ass. You know, this is you know what I'm saying? This is a Godzilla movie. Like he just throughout that whole movie, y'all saw he just his fat ass just lumbered. You know, just walk, beat somebody off screen, and then when they finally got to the fight, just snapped the dude's jaw, and just walked off. People like, that's cool, I'll take it. But can we next time just get some more ass whooping? Just a little bit more. And that's what people are getting excited about right now. But see, the thing is, Oz, I'm not a shallow person.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, kicking ass is cool and everything.
I mean, we're talking about Godzilla's kicking ass right now. We're
but
not shallow at all.
I mean, I would love some good character development. I would like, you know, nice story arcs. I would like a little
Godzilla
bit
character development.
Philosophy behind it.
I would love
some
more philosophy. Maybe I would like just something a little deeper. So, you know, maybe they had it right the first time. You know, all this ass kicking and everything. I don't know about it. But we'll watch the trailer. Maybe I'll see something that I missed the first time around. Maybe I'll get excited again. I don't know. Let's go ahead and take a look at this second trailer for Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Okay, saw it second time. Maybe I can even say it third time. And still feel the same way I did before. Shit! Oh, shit. Did you like it? Fuck you. You know, this is the first time. Felix, come on in here, man. I'm going to let you have a pass. Come here. Break shit. Come here.
My giant monsters are fighting giant fucking monsters.
All right, you know you're banned. Get the fuck out of here. Who let you in here, man? Man, let me tell you something. I'm just, what did I say earlier? I'm not a shallow person. I am shallow as fuck. That run said it all right there. That's all I needed. I looked at this and I was like, when they ran up on each other like this, I said, hell yeah, look at that right there. That is what was missing from the first movie. Look, I grew up with these with these movies, so this is kind of close to me.
You sure you grew up?
I didn't know. I didn't.
Or you just stayed there?
I'm sorry. I got bigger with these movies.
My body get bigger.
My brain is still this small. I love this. Listen, I'm gonna tell you. I don't know how the movie's gonna be. I don't. All right, I'm just speaking from the trailer, it's bringing me back to memories of when I was a little kid. I'm gonna tell you something too. I am excited because I liked the first movie. Now I will admit that first movie was just a title card. You know, that was just an intro to the fighters that we're about to have. And now with this movie, this right here, this is the main event. This is what we've been waiting on. This is what we wanted to see.
Yeah, if you like watching silhouettes fighting, sure.
Here we go. Here we go. See, now, you know, Oz and I, we love each other and we get along, but I have a feeling it's going to be me and Oz after this is done. Talking that shit, Oz, come here. By the way, Oz is Godzilla because he would beat my ass.
I'm seeing something, Pacific Rim meets Michael Bay and somebody running around with a goddamn ice smoke maker because I couldn't see shit.
Why all these monsters has to fight at a really cloudy, dark atmosphere? Why is never sunny when they're fighting or something like that? It's
always raining. They shoot. They doing this at night. I don't know who's fighting who. I'm like, all right, they're just showing glimpses.
That's bright right there. What do you want? Look at that. Look how bright. No, that is not an explosion. That's an explosion of fucking awesomeness. That is Mothra, baby. Look at that. That's bright. You see that right there?
It's not bright. Yeah, okay. It's just like some flames. That's it.
It's like a piece of paper going over the sky or something. I don't know what to tell you. It's the trailer's not really showing me much. I mean, granted, I've never been a big Godzilla fan. It always seemed kind of crazy to me. To that extent, I was never a King Kong fan either. But I really enjoyed Skull Island because it wasn't. We were in their land, and it was good to see their vegetation, their animals. It made sense for him to be where he is now. With this, it's just. I don't know. You're looking at this through a very filtered lens, right? And it's hard to make out what's going on for me.
You know what? I will give you this. I always thought a Godzilla movie, and I understand. I always thought a Godzilla movie would be better if they actually went to, like with Skull Island, they went to Monster Island. They did that in the mythology of Godzilla. They have a Monster Island where all these creatures exist, and because I'm looking at what they do here, I mean that's one thing I can complain about with this. Looking at this and looking at what they're doing here, like if these creatures really did get up and start fighting like they did and just start tearing things up like they do, everything is done. Ain't no cities left. It's time to move to Mars. There's nothing left. That's the one thing that is hard for me to get my mind around here. Is like
I have a question, like where these creatures come from?
Well, that's the thing. Now they're playing the myth up like, okay, what are these creatures? They call them kaiju. And at first they were talking about how they're animals.
They were saying titans. And
they call them titans in here. Yeah, no, you're right. They call them titans in here.
Like Greek mythology titans.
Well, that's one of the things they're talking about with these. Like these creatures are they're so big now, and they've almost taken like a godlike nature. Like they say like these creatures are now we're gonna have to like some of these creatures to. They're not just animals. We're going to have to summon them for our survival. So they might be playing up like almost a mystical level up to these animals. You just got to sit back and just let some things go. This is not based on science. These are not real animals. These are things. What this is meant for is meant for people like myself. And I will hold it against it if the story is shit, because and I'll talk about it in a little while. I'm not just a blind fan. But I am a fan that grew up watching these movies when I was 6 years old, 7 years old. I had toys when I was growing up. One of my greatest, I'm going to see if I can find it. I showed this before. One of my greatest gifts as a kid to show you how much nostalgia is working here. There's nothing wrong with that for a trailer to work on people's nostalgia for the audience that it's meant for. It was a Japanese, I think it was a Japanese product. And it was Godzilla, and it was from this company that made a line of toys called Shogun Warriors. They were all robots, and parts of their bodies would shoot off, like they could shoot off a hand, or their heads detached and turn into a rocket ship. For some reason, Godzilla, being an organic animal, still they want to have him do the same thing.
Now, Godzilla! You can launch Godzilla's claw for the...
Now, but that's what I was like, when did he get a prosthetic hand? You know?
Oh, maybe because it's like a lizard, and lizards lose their tails, but not hands.
Now, see, you over-explained it. As a kid,
I'm always like trying to find logic in this shit.
It's just, no, but his hand just, when he was in trouble and he had to shoot somebody, he had a gun, he just shot his hand off. You know, they did it because the robots did the same thing, but Godzilla wasn't a robot, but you had to have him do something cool other than just, just do this. So he shot
his ugly tongue.
He's ugly. I like the way you say he's ugly. And the commercial told you, now this is Godzilla, but he's an ugly ass Godzilla. When you grow up watching this and watching these creatures fight, now you had to grow up for years with these creatures. Listen, and we had to deal with whatever we got. He
was fighting during the day.
Well, and it was your dad. It was a dude in a rubber suit, and they would fight and they would do the dumbest shit. Godzilla was slide on his tail and knock a dude out. And it's like, okay, you know what?
Radical dude.
That's what we got. You got
Godzilla doing extreme sports. That's crazy.
You did that's the technology at the time.
Yeah, but at least they're not tearing down any buildings.
But that's what you wanted. Okay, so it's one thing to see Godzilla, do this when you're a kid. You had rubber and a man in a suit. And you had Godzilla do that, and at the time that was badass, and it's like, all right, fine, I'll take that. Now, coming from that era, today you look at what you got here, and it's like, this is what was going on in your imagination. This is what was going on in your mind, right there. And now you get to see it. And
not really. Not really.
This is where we have to like split right here, man. This is one of the things that I'm excited about.
But if they show everything. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying this is trailer 2, right?
Yeah.
All right, maybe they got one more trailer that they show everything. They can see.
Maybe they'll fight in a sunny day.
Yeah, maybe they'll fight on the beach.
Reschedule this fight for a sunny day.
Yeah, maybe the next one will look like this.
Yeah, like on the beach. Yeah.
But and listen, if this is, again, I don't know what to tell you, because we can talk about how dark the movie is and whatever, but I know that there are people who are loving this trailer for reasons that I liked, and it's just I'm talking to those people right now. I don't, because for one, as I said, that was a great way to end the trailer for what people were looking at. With Godzilla running right there, that's almost a spoiler. Because when somebody runs up on your ass like that, you getting your ass whooped. Like Ghidra is not going. He ain't winning that right there. I admire them for actually being able to take. Because I don't think the movie is trying to. I don't. It's taking a more serious approach than what we've seen, which I think is cool considering that we came from these rubber monsters that you see right here. Of course, what's that?
It's always cool to see your childhood stuff being brought to life and being taken seriously. And I just want to make sure that it's represented correctly, because right now you really can't see it. I'm not saying that's going to be for the whole thing, but just for this trailer. They're not really showing them off like I'd like to see them. Am I going to see this? Yeah, I want to go see it. Parts of it do look cool. With him running up on these people, that looks cool. I just, like I said, the same thing with Pacific Rim. I wanted to see that. It looked cool. But when I saw it, it was tough to see it.
I like what they've done with the cinematography, because I think, you talk about how dark it is, but I think that they've done things in a more subtle way than you could probably give the movie credit for, or at least the trailer for. Because I know that they were talking about, there's a lot of talk about who's, this new version of these creatures. As you know, sometimes Godzilla is a good guy, sometimes Godzilla is a bad guy. And Ghidra's always been a bad guy. Mothra has always been good. Rodan, I think, is kind of, switch sides every now and then. He's punk ass, but
when you say good or bad, that means like holding people's side or not?
Yeah, well, one is there to save humanity, and the other they're to destroy it. When Godzilla first entered in the 50s, it was a message for atomic, the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima. The destruction of atomic power. So he's completely bad. Later on, they found out that kids love monsters and people love monsters. They made a Godzilla either a hero or just kind of neutral. And this one, he's supposed to save humanity. And if you look at the trailer, you can see that they're trying to give hints. At least I think, possibly giving hints as to who's good and who's bad, just by indication of color. Like if you look at Godzilla, his color palette is blue. And Mothra, she's supposed to be a good monster on his side. She's also in blue. if you look at what they do with some of the other creatures there.
That's a female?
Yeah, Mothra's a female. And if you look at what they do with some of the other creatures like Ghidra. Ghidra is you can see like a lot of times the lightning is yellow behind him or even fiery red. And with Rodan, still out on what Rodan is, whether he's a good guy or bad guy. But it could be an indicator they might start bad, turn good later. But if you look at the color palette for Rodan, you can see like also there's a lot of red going on. I like that guy right there. That's badass. Man, oh shit!
Got him.
Yeah.
But again, man, it's a case where you have a beloved property that you wanted to be taken seriously and done correctly. And you want this to do well. And I want to do well for you because similarly, my beloved property became live action as well, Transformers, and it turned into shit.
I think you keep harping on the cinematography, which, okay, that's fine. But there's other things that I see in there that when you talk about like when you say the director, now you're talking about Michael Bay. Michael Bay loves explosions and ass. He's a Victoria's
Well, I'm talking about the same way. Well, the same way you see. Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about Michael Bay, who's very shallow with what he has, and that's why That's why that property was no good. They just gave it a guy that just wanted action. He just wanted to blow up shit. He just wanted to show Victoria's Secret models. The director of this movie, fortunately, is Michael Dowtry, who's only made 2 movies before this. And the one thing I can say about this guy being a good choice is that he loves monsters. And apparently he loves holidays because 2 films are based on monsters and holidays. One of my favorite films. And see, this is another thing that you probably don't see that doesn't get you excited, but gets me excited. Michael Dowtry directed right now one of my favorite holiday movies, which is a horror film called Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat was like a throwback to Creep Show, anthology film that took place during Halloween, and he actually created sort of a little iconic monster in there, a little creature named Sam. And the movie itself is full of like zombies and werewolves. So and furthermore, for his Christmas movie, which came out, I believe, maybe 2-3 years ago, he did Krampus, and Krampus was a creature feature for the Christmas holidays. He loves creatures, he loves monsters. So looking at that, I'm thinking, well, shit, that already to me is a sign of somebody who they didn't just randomly choose this person. They chose this person because he understands the property probably a little bit better than a few other people. I'm not saying that all the things in here are going to be perfect at all. And it's funny when you said you can't see them, but they made sure you saw that product placement. Dunkin' Donuts. They lit that up very well. Donuts fit for a king.
Yeah, before everything goes down.
yeah. Before they destroy everything, get your Dunkin' Donuts. I think that if you want, it's like, listen, if I had to complain about some things here, I would probably say it's the casting. The casting in the movie is interesting. They brought because they brought some people back who were good actors. I mean, first of all, Sally Hawkins, who we saw fucking a fish man in Shape of Water. Mm-hmm. Now she's back in this movie. I like the way she's in this movie. Now she's trying to fuck Godzilla. She's like, damn.
Looks like she likes monsters.
Yeah, she likes monsters. She's like, damn, I want that lizard penis. But, she's in the movie. She's from the first film. Not much to do. Now, and that goes for a lot of people in the film. You got Ice Cube's son, O'Shea Jackson, in here. I don't, that's a new character. I don't know what he's going to do in the film. He really does look like his dad. That's why he played his dad in Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's going to do, but it looks
11 is there. Teenager 11.
Oh, yeah. No, I was going to get to her. Charles Dance has returned from the...
Tyrion's dad. What was it like?
Oh, from
Lannister dad.
From Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Yeah, he was a king in Game of Thrones. These characters in the movie, they... the ones that are new and the ones that are returning, I just don't feel like there's going to be much for them to do. And that's fine because this is not a movie for you to advance your career unless you are CGI and the size of a building. This is not your movie. And that's what worries me about. As I said, I do want story in this. I am concerned because a lot of people are saying, oh, man, if I just get creatures just beating the shit out of each other, that's fine with me. And I'm just like, well, that can only go seeing creatures just beat each other can only go so far. You know, I don't want just a movie of creatures just fighting each other, you know, and explosions and destruction. You know, that'll be a bonus. That'll be great. But I always thought a movie that was best if you can get really good story in there, and you can get some cool special effects and destruction if you have it, because that's what this is. It's a disaster film. There's only one human being in here that actually comes in here and stands out from everybody. This is the one, because when he doesn't have much to do, but when he does it, it's cool. Because he usually comes in and he says just one line, and it's the most badass line. And of course, that is Ken Watanabe.
Yeah.
Let them fight.
You know, that's all he did really, was just stand back and just say something like that. And that's what he's doing in this one. He's just the guy where if you need somebody to come in and say something cool, call him.
So you'd want to make Godzilla our pet?
No. We would be his.
People are like, where the fuck he come from?
He's always there. Just like,
Everybody stop laughing real quick.
Yeah.
Hey, what?
There's another person in here, I think, that actually is someone that that I'm interested in, and it's mostly because they set up her situation so well, and that is Millie Bobby Brown. Millie Bobby Brown, no relation to the real Bobby Brown, but
Prerogative.
Millie Bobby Brown, you know, in both trailers they set her situation up. You know, there's actually the one part where they show some human mystery. She's trying to figure out what's going on with the destruction that's happening around her, which, you know, she can't figure it out. And I always thought that made her more interesting than all the other characters that you see.
I think that's what has me most curious, right? Is seeing, because they show you, they go out their way to show you her situation and whatever that is, and I'm curious to see how does that all tie into all this craziness that's going around, and then they show you different shots of other human beings. I'm like, wow, how is this all going to connect? You know, are they going to have something to do, or
that's what I don't know. I don't know what's happening, and that's the, you know, and I think that's what's cool about the trailer too, is that, listen, they're showing you a bunch of fighting, and it might seem like it's a little shallow, but I think that there's more story to this than they actually are revealing. Because while I say that I want more story in this, there is, you know, they do have a small bit of story in there where, if you've seen both trailers, let me see if I can find it here. If you've seen both trailers, they have. Let me see here. Now you see Millie Bobby Brown there, but behind her you have Vera Farmiga, who you don't know if she's a villain. You don't know if she's somebody who's trying to help. The first trailer made her look kind of villainous, but they say that she's being kidnapped by another organization, and this organization is responsible for trying to use these creatures to destroy, you know, Earth or whatever. But that's why I thought like Skull Island was so cool. I'm like you guys, I love Skull Island. Yeah. And what they're doing with Skull Island, they started introducing or making this this organization called Monarch play a bigger role. Monarch is the company that is the organization that's keeping tabs on these giant titans, these creatures, these kaiju, big ass gorillas or whatever. And I think that's an interesting premise, because when you do that, what you're going to have here, you're going to have on the forefront, you're going to have these creatures fighting, but it's going to be kind of cool to see like this human struggle between these two organizations on the side that's happening right then. I think that's where you're going to get your story. Really, when you get down to it, I think it's going to be something that can be enjoyed when you get there. It's not just going to be enjoyed by fans who grew up with this stuff, but it's going to be enjoyed by a lot of people just as sort of a big CGI action spectacle, and that's cool too.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping. You know, they seem to have all the models down. And, you know, it's definitely realized the way that I think it should be realized, you know, coming from this rubber suit.
You know, and I grew up at that time when Spielberg was always like, you know what, show less and get people to the theater to see the real thing.
Right.
This is a trailer. You know, they're showing you just enough right here. And I think you're going to get like full shots of what these creatures look like when they fight. You're going to get full shots and well-lit shots when you actually go in to see the movie for itself. I mean, I think they're going by that rule of like, we don't want to show you everything, including the creatures. Right. You know, and I used to love that, because I think that's, man, back in the day when you know, when they sold Gremlins and they sold E.T., they sold it by not showing you E.T. or Gizmo. Yeah. Even with Harry and the Hendersons, they never showed you what Harry the Bigfoot looked like. You know, you had to go and see the movie to see what you would, for monster movies, they would do the same thing, you know?
Godzilla would beat or King Kong?
Oh, shit. Why you put me in that position?
Good one. Good question.
Because I like both of them.
But who do you think is stronger?
Okay, you know what? I think, fuck, Godzilla breathes fire.
Yeah, I'm saying he got that fire mouth.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell. Okay, let me. You see, now, baby, you playing the game with me now. You make like little kids. I'm gonna do it. Let me lay it down like this, and let me find a good visual example right here. Okay, I want you to take a look at something. It's kind of a draw, because on the one hand, Godzilla, he can breathe fire. I think he's even taller. But
is the fire? It looks like radioactive.
It's radioactive, yeah. It's radioactive breath, not fire. It's radioactive breath. But if you look at him, he's got a little bit of a gut right there. You know what I'm saying? Now,
the body shape.
Yeah. Now, if you go to King Kong, he doesn't have radioactive breath, but he's swole than a motherfucker. Look at
King Kong's fit.
Yeah, and he's got a little bit fireproof if you see right there. So I tell you, if I had my Godzilla's my boy. That's who I grew up with. I had the Godzilla with the shootable hand. So, I had to go with Godzilla. But I really do root for King Kong because he got more personality. Godzilla just a force of nature. Godzilla's actually, King Kong he's actually kind of cool, he shows emotion.
Okay.
King Kong just seems much stronger than Godzilla, just physically looking at him. But again, I see Godzilla doing some cardio. You saw him at the end running.
Yeah, that is true, man. that is true. You're still fat, but don't let this gut fool your ass. I'll still beat the fuck out of you.
All right, then I would say this. Let them fight.
Let them fight. And boy, I'm telling you, look out for Godzilla when he get that electric slide on your ass.
They need to put that in somehow.
They do. I need to work that in some kind of way. And they need to find a way to make his hand shoot off too.
Maybe that's gonna be the final shot in the movie. Everything ends and then he slides on his tail.
Slides off into the sunset.
It was like a victory dance for him. Like.
Well, everybody, my work here is done.
I saved humanity.
Today I was sitting on the toilet, and what made things go so much smoother was thinking about you subscribing to this YouTube channel right here. And also go over to doubletoasted.com and subscribe over there, because you will find not only a longer form version of this video, but also the live streams that we do almost every night of the week. Go to dtmerch.com, support us over there, and stay